Now let me remind you, we are looking at how true faith submits to God, lives for God. So to understand living for God, James began chapter 4 by having us consider conflicts, especially conflict with God. And then he presents the solution to the problem, which is God's grace. But it's not just anyone who can receive God's grace, because James reminds us that God is opposed to the proud. It's only those who are humble who can tap into God's grace. So now we've shifted gears a bit and our focus is on how to become humble. And we are looking at this portion of Scripture in chapter 4, verses 6 through 10, that gives us 10 commands. 10 commands that must be implemented in order to become humble and receive His grace. And we saw that the first requirement that God has for us in verse 7 is submission, meaning that one must bring themselves under the authority of God and be willing to do whatever He says. Which brings us today to look at the rest of verse 7, at the next requirement. And God says we must resist the devil. Well, now, you must understand the devil is very real. He is an enemy of God and of the church, and he's busy at work. So it would be to our advantage to understand who he is and how he works. So let's dive in today and let's see what God has to say about his archenemy, who's also known as Satan, the fallen angel who rebelled against God and was expelled out of heaven and sent to earth. And then you and I will understand why we need to resist him and how to stand against him.